Hi, this is Fred with Quality One Engravers. We're going to do a real simple badge for doing a matrix. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my plate size, and it turns out that the width or the matrix of these badges, the centers, is 2.8 inches. So it's 1.4 inches to the center and then 2.8 to the next badge and so forth. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'll leave the origin at the upper left and then just say OK. Now I'm going to click on, now I know that the badge itself is about 2.35 wide, and the area to engrave is 2.5. So I'm going to put this down at the center of the badge. Actually, I can go Alt, Home, Enter, and that puts it at the center. And I know that the bottom here is 2.8, so I'll click here and put in 2.8, and that puts it down. So this is the engraving or the entire sign of the available space. And obviously you have more than that because you have a spacing and a matrix. So I'm going to put some text in here, and I'm going to use the very first one, which is the frame text compose. And I click in here, and these are my line properties, and I want to change it to 1 1/8 high letter. I want it to be centered. I want to use my Quality One font, and for this I'm going to use my normal block 2x, which is this one right here. So I've got my 1 1/8 high letter, and then I'm going to click right here and get my frame properties. And I know just for this example, I know I want a left and right margin of 0.5 and 0.5, and then I want a bottom margin of 0.18. Now on this one, actually what I want is I want it to be justified down. So I want, okay, because I know I want 0.18 from the bottom of the badge. And I can just type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It really doesn't matter what you type in here. So there's my tag that I'm going to engrave. Now I need to matrix this. So what I do now is I will save this. So I go Save As, and I'm going to just call it a cow tag, and maybe it's medium, and it's 1_125 height letter, and it's a 2_8 inch tag across. And you can come up with better information so that this is meaningful. Now you can also type that in out of the field. But anyways, this is, so now this part I've already got it saved, but I don't need that any longer. So I'm going to click on this 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I'm going to go to badges. And this has already been set up. Number one, I don't want any score lines, so I'm going to leave that on none. I can select the color here that really does. I want it to use the plate. Now I'm going to have this at just at 1 here. Now I know that my fixture only allows for 5 across. So if I make it a 12 by 20, which I know that's the size of the table, if I did this, I get 14 on a plate. But it actually turns out 10 is a good number, but I have to reduce this, and I can just guess at it and go 17 and see what happens. And remember, don't hit the enter key. You got to hit the tab key. 17 is too much. 15, and there you go. Okay, again, don't hit the enter key like I just did. Click here, go to badges. You'll do that 100 times. So this is what I want. I want 5 here and 5 here. Now this is the vertical spacing from here to here. Now the horizontal spacing is 0 because I made the plate 2.8 inches, and that's the spacing of my tags of the fixture. So I'm going to click on my text here. I don't have replacement data, but I do know that I want the numbering scheme to be from 1.1234 on up. And then I go OK. And click here. Go to serialization. And I can have a start number be 101. And I want increment by 1, increment by 2. I'm sorry, increment by 1 and repeats being 2. Okay, and then say OK. And that didn't work. Cancel. Control Z. Engrave. I'm sorry, badges. Select here. Go OK. Click here. Go to serialization. And you got to go 101 and then set as base. Okay, increment is 1, repeats is 2. Okay, I had to swipe through it. Okay, now hopefully it will work. And then say OK. Okay, and now it worked. Okay, so there's a 101, 102, and you can see it duplicates, and I can say OK. So here's my engraving that it's going to do. Now, if I'm concerned about this, I can engrave just this one to see if it fits on the tag, and engrave this one and see if it fits on the tag, and maybe go over here in this one, and I can see if those 4 work, then my matrix is certainly going to work. So let's undo this and do it one more time. I'm going to click on this, go to badges, click here, and this time I'm going to tell it to do 20. Okay, and then I don't have replacement data. If you do, that would be an Excel file or a text file or something of that nature. And I'm going to say OK. I'm going to click on this, go to serialization. Again, I'm going to type in 101, swipe through it and set as base. Increment is going to be 1, repeats is 2. And then I'm going to say OK. So there's a 101, and now it put in 20 parts and say OK. And now I have 2 pages to engrave. Okay. Hope this helps. Again, you can always revert back to your original saved. You can save the matrix part, but what I really recommend that you do is that you save this as the best name that you can give it, and then all you have to do is go and do a save as and just put in the word junk. Okay, now if you screw this tag up and you accidentally save it, you do your badges, click here, say OK, come up here, serialization, set as base, increment 1, repeats 1, and then say OK and OK. Now I've got the same number of badges to do, but now if I go save, now I no longer, well, I do have my undo, but if I close this out and open it back up, I can no longer undo that. Hope this helps.